What a way to start the show. And look, we're supposed to have this. That's just a spiffy thing there, right? Little intro like that.
Look at it.
So for the folks that listen to the Rob and Kale show. Good evening, welcome in. Thanks for joining us this thing. Try to have a plan for tonight. We're gonna have a little fun. We're gonna talk about the Mount Rushmore for both South Carolina and Clemson. And Jackpot and I were talking about this earlier. And we didn't get heated, but it was more like a conversation. You have this person here. If you don't, it's just stupid. And then it's like, well, you know what? I kind of agree with Pod. I wasn't too there, but so we're gonna have fun with that tonight. That's gonna be good. By the way, if Jackpot are there is because Jackpot's dog is more talented than both of us.
Well, that's
the dog's eating. We'll also talk a little bit about the baseball team. See, I didn't tell you. No, but here's the thing. We got to talk about the Gamecock baseball team tomorrow. Tomorrow is regional host day. I know for a fact Clemson's not going to be there.
You don't think?
Oh no! When you lose by a touchdown and a field goal to USC Upstate, you generally don't. I don't think Clemson's very good at all. A softball team, we could go miles on that, but. Anyway, yes, we'll have a little bit of baseball talk, but the Mount Rushmore thing is going to be huge tonight. Let's thank our sponsors, Callaway's Bar and Grill. Callaway's Bar and Grill. From Mark, they come in our bracket challenge. We appreciate them. Retro video games and more. Go to Callaway's Bar and Grill. I'm not positive on other Wednesday. And the way the show works is that if Jackpot's not here, he himself. So
Rob, I'm going to leave our video for just a minute and I'm going to come right back, okay? Because we're like,
okay.
Your voice sounds like it's singing to me.
Okay, we'll Jackpot that. There you go.
I'll be right back.
All right, there you go. Ooh, look, Rob's up there in the big thing there. Anyway. Oh, so the regional selection. My bad. I thought the regional selection tomorrow. Thank you for correcting me on that, Blake. But we're gonna get into the Mount Rushmore of stuff. More than low. I'll leave and come back in a moment. Then, once Jackpot gets back here, and then we'll see if it's the connection. It's we got. I beefed up my internet connection about a couple months ago, but all right. How's that, Jackpot? A little better? There we
go. So far.
2 minutes. All right, here we go.
Hey, what's up, guys? What did he do? He left us. Where in the heck is he going? Where is Rob going? He'll be back in just a minute. We're having a little technical difficulties tonight. Hey, Bubby. Hey, big boy. We've been trying to avoid these lately, but today they seem to have bitten us in the ass. Happy Mother's Day, by the way. What? You want to say Happy Mother's Day? What? I love this puppy. So warm on my legs and stuff, especially when I'm wearing shorts. He's a good boy. He's a good boy, aren't you? Yes, I am. Yes, I am, Daddy. Yes, I am. Yes, I do. Silly boy. Yes, I am, Daddy. Ain't he, boy? Ain't he, boy? Ain't he, boy? Ain't he, boy? Yeah, I you, boo.
All right, there you go.
Give it to me.
Let's see here. Oh, that's scary. I've connected with my phone for a second here, Jackpot, because I'm going to reboot my computer for a moment.
Okay, you look different.
How do I look different?
You're in a square instead of in a rectangle.
That's funny. You should be a truck driver, KL. My grandpa was a truck driver, and he's been to every state because of it. I don't think, I could see, I don't know. If Kale wants to be a truck driver, he'd have to work for Dennis Wilson. Make some crazy money with Dennis Wilson, by the way.
There you go.
But, yeah, let's go ahead and we'll do our sponsorship with Dennis Wilson here for a moment. Of course, Dennis is with DNC Trucking and Transport. Fireside Chats with Uncle Jackpot. Jackpot, what do you have for us this evening, sir?
Well, I can definitely tell you that it sucks to be a Gamecock. It's been 2,347 days since my team has beaten Clemson on the football field. Did you know that Clemson won a national title before my Gamecocks won a bowl game? I hear in the room that it is more of a home run option to have the Gamecock Mount Rushmore to be Colin Hill, Will Muschamp, Adam Primus, and Mike Hobo. It sucks to be a Gamecock. Go Tiger!
That's a hell of a Mount Rushmore there. I mean,
Hell of
you've got your offensive coordinator and your defensive and all pros. Come on, Jackpot. That's a hell of a Mount Rushmore.
shit.
All right, well, that we'll go with that tonight. We'll talk a little Gamecock baseball later. That's the only term that I can use for that. Anyway, the Mount Rushmore and with it breaking up again, gentlemen, I don't know exactly what the deal is with it. We're waiting on I don't know if it's just internet connective stuff where I'm at, but it should cut up in a minute, hopefully here. All right, Jackpot, let's do our Mount Rushmore. We'll start with the Gamecocks. And you have a couple clips you wanted me to pull, right? I've got those. Give me a second, and we'll get those moving for you. But tell us about your Mount Rushmore. Now, you can only have 4 because that's the only thing they've got on Mount Rushmore. But for your Gamecock Mount Rushmore, which way are you going?
Okay. Not find it. This is silly. Okay. First, on the Gamecock Mount Rushmore, and these are people that have been around in the last, quarter century or so. Well, maybe a little more than that. But somebody that someone my age understands and can relate to. As we were talking about earlier, we're not going to talk about people who, rode horses instead of vehicles to get to most of the places that they went to and from, et cetera, et cetera. Or wore helmets that were made of leather or other, type athletic equipment. It's not going to work. Number one, it's got to be Connor Shaw. Quarterback, beat Clemson 4 times in a row, undefeated, led the team to 3 straight, 11-win, top 10 finishes. It's like one of the, the glory pinnacles of South Carolina football. And they say, where's your coach, Steve Spurrier, was your coach? Well, I mean, at the time that he won those 11 games every year, everybody's making fun of Steve Spurrier as a coach. They were laughing at him for getting drunk before his post-game coaches shows, which can't say he did or he didn't, but some of the teams that he fielded in the 5 or 6 years he was at South Carolina before Connor Shaw came around, they really wasn't that damn good. I mean, they were good because they had his name attached to them. Will you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they were no better than how are they better than a 7-5 Will Muschamp team? I mean, they really wasn't. I mean, other than the fact they had Steve Spurrier's name attached to them. So, Connor Shaw, top on the list there. I mean, quarterback, thank you. It was unreal. Number 2, Dawn Staley, women's basketball coach, 2 national championships at University of South Carolina. And we dare say, I mean, who in the world would have ever thought that when they built an 18,000-seat arena in the middle of the city of Columbia back in the year 2000, that the women's basketball team would sell the arena out and pack more asses in the seats than the men's basketball team.
Sorry about that. Go ahead. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, who would have thought that? I mean, this has happened. I mean, against games against conference foes that mattered. Game on ESPN at home against UConn, which, I mean, to be frank, Martin, they have lost most of those big, huge games in that kind of limelight. But still, I mean, it sets your program on a bar up here when everybody else.
Sideline, double tight end for Carolina. And here's the get to Bennett. He's over, but he's not in the end zone. He's the goal line with 21 seconds remaining.
My sound clips are acting silly, but these are some clips that Kale wanted. But go ahead and finish up with what you were talking about there with Dawn Staley.
But I mean, just amazing. I mean, what she has done with recruiting classes over and over and over. I think this lady could honestly get a job coaching the men's team somewhere. I mean, which is it is such a microcosm that her women's team is so has had such unbridled success, while our men's team has floundered like just a bunch of just freaking I don't know guys that just they're not playing very well the past couple of years together. I mean, I don't really know what to say about it. I mean, it's ridiculous. But Dawn Staley definitely on the Gamecock Mount Rushmore for me. Well, the other ones, going back to football again, it's got to be Sterling Sharp, one of the most exciting players that I can ever remember seeing at the University of South Carolina. I mean, he didn't win any Heisman trophies, but honestly, because he only played there a couple of years, did spend 5 years in the NFL. Career got cut short, a little bit earlier, I think, than most would have liked. Neck injury, had to retire from the game of football, but he could have easily played another 10 years. I mean, he was excellent, exciting, fast. Goddamn, never won a Heisman Trophy. Never an all-conference player because he didn't play in a conference. But you didn't want him on your team. I would have taken Sterling Sharp there. And number 4 on my Gamecock Mount Rushmore. And if you're my age, you will understand this and why I put this man on the Gamecock Mount Rushmore is Bob Fulton, the radio announcer for the University of South Carolina men's basketball and football, also many baseball games. As I was a kid growing up, listened to Bob's call on the radio many Saturdays at South Carolina. Didn't play a home game, man. When I was growing up, I mean, either we went to the game because we had season tickets, or you listened to Bob on the radio for the road games because you didn't. Because they were not on TV. Games were not on TV back then. You're lucky if you had 2 of them on there a year or so. I mean, we may have had one game on ESPN, one game on some outlaw network, and we may have had one game on Raycom Sports when we played Clemson or something like that, but which was the ACC network. But I mean, anything other than that, even the bigger game probably wasn't televised. So you listen to Bob. I mean, he had some iconic calls in his day. I mean, he was one of those guys that had a voice that you just, if you heard it, you knew exactly who it was that was speaking. And I think that kind of gets lost today on social media. And these guys that are, trying to do the same thing today. It's not the same thing.
Let me. You had to play this clip from Bob Fulton from the '93 Georgia game because I remember.
Sure.
Yeah, I remember this game and just the call from it and Bob Fulton doing his thing. Bob Fulton was just outstanding. So here's a little snippet of the 1993 Georgia game where South Carolina goes down to Georgia and beats them between the hedges.
The half-yard line, double tight end for Carolina. And here's the get to Bennett. Down, it's over, but he's not in the end zone. He's right at the goal line with 21 seconds remaining. 21 seconds remaining. And the players are slow getting up. 15 seconds, 14. They're trying to hurry the players up. 10 seconds, 9 seconds. They line up in the power eye again. 5 seconds. Give the ball to Bennett. He goes. Bennett fires over the top. Touchdown. Carolina will draw 15-yard penalty. Who cares? Celebrating. I know there's only 2 seconds remaining in the ball game.
That is an iconic call if you are a South Carolina fan. I got to work with Bob Fulton when after he retired. He used to come in and he endorsed like several different things, and I got to actually record him doing some stuff. And he was a gentleman. Always came in. He looked sharp, which I know sounds silly, but he always looked like, he could just walk into a booth and just call games. I mean, it was as simple as that. I mean, he was that great. And he 6 months before he died, and his voice was still outstanding. Can I address something really quick over here in the chat room? Sure. Blake Robinson is obviously intimidated by women. He's saying that women's basketball is a drain. You don't see Clemson fans and Alabama fans talking about women's basketball much. I talk about women's basketball. Love Clemson women's basketball. Kendall Spray was fucking awesome for Clemson this year. Could shoot the three like one of the best players ever. Transferred in from Austin Peay, was an outstanding player. I love women's hoops. I wish we were a little bit better than what we are. But to sit here and say it's a complete drain is bullshit. And to piss on what Don Staley's doing is bullshit. Don Staley's a hell of a coach. Stop with that nonsense, man. Stop with that shit.
Exactly. I mean,
she packed the fucking arena. What they sold out. I don't think people understand this. They sold out that
18,000 seats. That's a lot of seats.
She had one season. The year they won the national title, they were right there with the men as far as the number of tickets sold. Okay, and you know what? There's one statue at the University of South Carolina for basketball, and it's not a guy statue. It's not a guy statue. It's not about money. It's not about money. Everything can't be about money. If that's the case, I guarantee you your Mississippi State program with the money that you spend and the return that you get shouldn't have a fucking football program. Try that.
To be honest with you, I don't know, and I haven't looked back at the record books on this subject. But I don't know that since we built that 18,000 seat arena in 2000, 2001, right? I don't know that South Carolina men's team has sold it out. Period. Unless they're playing fucking Kentucky.
I think they've done it. Yeah, it's 2 times. Kentucky both times.
Yeah. Okay. As Jim Cornette would say, well, there you go.
And look
Who
who won
do you
the
think
pony.
won the damn pony?
Exactly.
That's not even a real sellout.
Just to say, hey, we should only play sports that make money. I guarantee you, baseball's in the negative. There are 2 sports that are generally in the positive at every college. It's football at most schools. Now, when you're a shit show school where you don't really win anything, you generally don't make money either. But at most schools, you don't make money. So it's simple as that. I don't understand why people just want to piss, especially on Dawn Staley. And a lot of times it's Gamecock fans in her Twitter feed. You know, I'm not a Gamecock fan, but I will go into her Twitter feed sometimes because she'll post something and people are running their mouth at her. And I'm like, you couldn't fucking sniff the greatness this woman has accomplished. Your ass is in a cubicle somewhere running your mouth with your Gamecock hat on, sitting there jerking off, hoping that Shane Beamer does something fucking great when he can't sniff her fucking jockstrap either.
Waiting on Shane Beamer to go something great, but anyway.
Waiting on him to do something great when your best fucking coach is your women's coach. So
not hoping on it, waiting on it.
I fucking hate you. Anyway,
he's mic'd up.
I get frustrated with that. It's just stop. None of the sports make money. None of them do. So come on with that nonsense, man. By the way, my Gamecock Mount Rushmore, being someone that has lived in this state my entire life, my Gamecock 4 are a little bit different than Jackpots. Ray Tanner has to go on the list. Guy won 2 national titles in baseball. Now, I understand.
Well,
fans that are upset because they think he's dicking the dog as far as being the athletic director, but I've got him there as a baseball coach.
Yeah,
one that he had as a baseball coach is outstanding. I mean, it's not even close to being something you can piss on a little bit.
Now he's kind of peed on his own legacy, the past few years with his shitty coaching hires in the athletic department and his just general fuckery.
I don't have him there as an AD. I have him there as a baseball coach. Can we isolate what he did as a baseball coach and think that was pretty fucking good?
Well, that's fine, but I mean, everybody else that I had, I mean, they only did one thing. I mean, Connor Shaw only did one thing in South Carolina. I mean, Don Sully's only done one thing. We're not. I don't know. I mean.
Well, number 2 for me would have to be Steve Spurrier. And I know that's going to piss people off, but Steve Spurrier brought relevance to the South Carolina football program. And people are like, huh? The best time in your history as far as being a Gamecock in the football front was under Steve Spurrier. The rest of your stuff is shit. I mean, you can talk about we had some golds, we won some Outback, and that's great. But in reality, the best time in your history was when Steve Spurrier was under control.
I mean, to be honest with you, though, I mean, okay. Let's look from this standpoint, though. From 2005 to 2010, he was the head coach. None of those teams really had outstanding records. In 2010, you can say, what did you do? Jackpot, you won the SEC East. Oh, my God. But, I mean, that team's record still really wasn't that good. Right. 11, 12, and 13, they had some really good teams. That was because they had some they just had some really good talent on those teams. There were some really good high 3-star, 4-star players, especially from South Carolina, a couple of 5 stars. But everybody say Steve Spurrier didn't like to recruit. He didn't like to recruit players. So they were there. Why? So, I mean, really, I mean, what did him be? I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
I think they had some. I think they had. I think the stars fell into alignment. We had some good assistant coaches who, names unmentioned. Shane Beamer. One of them. Yeah.
Damn. Stop
that got that group together, and they played out of their fucking minds for a few years, and we won some ball games. And then, I mean, he was still the coach in 2014, and then by that time, those guys were gone, and what he was doing really wasn't working anymore. So I really don't. I don't. If you look back on it, the history, the trajectory of things. I mean, he really didn't carve his niche into the Gamecock trading post the way that you would like to think he did.
Couple of things. I wasn't really Shane Beamer according over there to SEC Dog. I was mentioning that he has not gotten to a point where he can compete with Don Staley. I think he's going to be a great coach for South Carolina. I really do. Jesus, people just you take one thing I say and spin it. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not trying to tangle with the best Gamecock YouTuber ever. I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to piss on what his Mount Rushmore is. I'm just telling you what mine is. And for me, as far as bringing relevance to a joke of a football program, Steve Spurrier went in and people were like, wait a minute, Spurrier's going down there. He went in and he won some games. It had the best period in Gamecock history. For me,
imagine losing to that. Imagine losing to that joke a bunch of times. Crazy.
Absolutely. Look, when Spurrier was there, man, you know, the whole thing of, you know, Clemson right now is one of the nationally elite programs. When Spurrier was there and was doing his thing, he was beating Clemson like they stole something. Absolutely did. And I just, you know, I think there's a lot of people that piss on Spurrier because he left and the way he left the program was kind of shitty. But man, that time period when he was there, when he had guys like, oh man, Stephon Gilmore and Marshawn Lattimore and Connor Shaw, who by the way was, you know, coached by Steve Spurrier. I mean, I hate to put that out there. He's up on Gamecocks on a Jackpot's Mount Rushmore. I mean, he was coached by Steve Spurrier, so there's that.
He's also coached by G.A. Mangus, somebody else I didn't mention.
Mangus, yeah. Hopefully he won't piss in the street like he did in Greenville.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, so I had, let's see here to make sure that I was on the same page. I had Ray Tanner, I had Steve Spurrier, Michael Roth. I don't think people understand how great Michael Roth was. This guy was just lights out for South Carolina for a big part of his tenure there. And, you know, I think that there's a lot of folks that there's a lot of Gamecock fans that just think, oh, we're a football school. But in reality, you're probably a baseball school first. And your best baseball player, in my opinion, you could argue Jackie Bradley Jr. I go with Roth. He was outstanding. And then number 4 for me is Dawn Staley. Of course, she's won the national title, took the team to the Final Four. And, you know, this is a Gamecock women's program that had some issues, and she brought them out of the toilet and won a national title. And that is hard. Winning a national title in anything's hard, but she went out, took the controls there, and got where if you go to a women's game down here, it's an event. It's an absolute event. Now,
the Mardi Gras.
Yeah, really, but what the people that Jackpot had, all of those are good. All the ones that Jackpot had were really good. There's only 4 spots though. I mean, and it's really hard for me to go against Bob Fulton, but I just it's a tough road to hoe. But there's only 4 spots. Let's move on. Jerome says, "How about Asia Wilson?" Yes, I could go with Asia Wilson too. Hello, son. I could go with Asia Wilson too. She is an outstanding player and doing her thing. But I mean, I think to Michael Roth, if I had to go take one off there, to be Michael Roth for her. But for me, it's Michael Roth, and then she'd be number 5 if we had a 5th one. All right, let's get to our Clemson set there, Jackpot. If you want to put your stuff up there for you guys, we can do that too. But for Clemson, Jackpot, we'll let you start. Have you got your 4 for Clemson?
Sure.
All right.
Now, number 1 for Clemson. I and
Hurts jackpot.
Goddamn, what?
Having to talk about these hurts jackpots feeling.
I hate to use motherfuckers any credit for anything, but number one, I think you gotta go with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I just really do. I mean, he never lost a regular season game. I mean, how many records did he set? I mean, how many? I don't. I mean, how many huge wins did he have? I mean, yes, last time we saw him out, guys, ask it. Ohio State.
Yep.
We'll pedal back from that. I like the first game he played in his college career was on the big stage. What, Texas A&M? I mean, and it was like the first pass of his college career. It was like a 75-yard touchdown pass on the road at Texas A&M. A difficult pass, right? Down to was that T. Higgins? Caught that touchdown pass down the sideline there. So I mean, he's just got to go down. It's one of my favorite taters of all time. I mean, yes, he stumped Gamecock ass for 3 years in a row, and it's just some lights out. I mean, good luck to him in the NFL. One Clemson player I can definitely say I don't hate anymore. Now he's not wearing orange and white. So Trevor Lawrence, I mean, he's poised. I mean, he could run too, which it looked like he wasn't a running quarterback. I mean, he was kind of deceptively fast and had those long strides. Hell of an athlete. Give me Trevor Lawrence on the Clemson Mount Rushmore of players / coaches / people.
All right. So that's number one. Who are your other three?
Number two, I'm going to go, and this is one that you probably come out of left field, that is a defensive player, hadn't been around a long time. I'm going to go with Anthony Simmons, who played at Clemson from 94 through 97, not far from here. He's from Murderburg, South Carolina, which would also be known as Spartanburg, also known as Sparkle City. He was a hell of a player defensively on Clemson. Some Clemson teams that wasn't really all that good, but he did go to the NFL, do some good things at linebacker position. I mean, he was their defense for like 4 years in a row. So I'm going to go with Anthony Simmons, Clemson, Mount Rushmore players / people. And next individual I'm going to go with, I'm going to have to go with Dabo. I mean, can you say that he really he kind of changed the culture over there at Clemson? I hate to say it. I know that, in my rants and everything that I say, it's a bunch of hogwash, and it's just all a bunch of lies and fairy tales. But I mean, I really do think that people have bought into what he's selling, what he's / brought to the table as a coach and a leader and a motivator. He's hired some really excellent assistant coaches over the years, which he really hadn't had to do a lot of hiring because he's retained most of the people that he has on his staff, and they've done the things that they've needed to do to build that into a championship level program year in, year out. And he's at the head of that. I mean, he does deserve credit. Just because I don't like him, just because he got a young guy fired from his job just for doing his job. And holding him accountable for, traveling in his vehicle too fast to be safe. That maximum level speed doesn't matter. He's still, you got to give him credit. You got to tip your hat to Coach Sweeney and what he's done at Clemson. So he would be on my Mount Rushmore there. And the last person I want to mention, we're going to show a clip of too, up on YouTube. And, I already put Fulton on my
Why is it doing this? Okay. All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right,
you have
put Bob Fulton on my Gamecock Mount Rushmore. I'm going to put Jim Phillips on my Clemson Mount Rushmore. Same thing with Bob Fulton. I heard the call of Jim Phillips many, many times as a youngster. Listening to Clemson games. I'm a Gamecock fan, Gamecock born, Gamecock bred, Gamecock until I am motherfucking dead. But my grandparents, a lot of my cousins, and just people I knew growing up, Clemson fans, and I was subjected to and had to listen to that shit for quite a few years. And I learned to appreciate the calls of Jim Phillips, who not before, but at one point in his career, he also he was the sports anchor at Channel 4, the mainstream NBC channel up here in Greenville. So not only was he the head of the Taters radio broadcast, he was head of the sports department over there at WYFF until I guess he gave that up, and he moved on and just decided to do the Clemson thing full time. But he was a good man, and he died way too soon. He died. I think Bob Fulton was way older than he was, and I remember the year after, or no. It was the week after Jim Phillips died. And it was in like maybe 2002, 2003, something like that. They brought Bob Fulton to Clemson, to the Memorial Stadium for that next game. And with, what's his name, Pete Yanity, the guy from Channel 7 in Spartanburg. They brought him up there, and they actually talked to Bob some stories about, working with Jim Phillips over the years. And they actually sat there and let him call a series when Clemson had the ball against Middle Tennessee State. And they actually scored a touchdown during the drive. And he, whoever it was that scored, I don't remember who, but let's just say it was a touchdown by Chad Jasmine. And whoever it was working for him, Pete Yancey, maybe he said, "Mr. Fulton, are you allowed to say that?" And he said, "I'm 84 years old. I can say what I want to. Touchdown, Tigers." And I thought that was really cool. But that was the Jim Phillips tribute. But if you play that clip and listen to that, all of his field goal kick calls sounded exactly like that. I mean, whoever it was would kick the ball, and this guy would say, "And the kick is up, and the kick is." You would hold it for a second. Is. You're like, "What is it, Jim?" Is it is? Well, Jim, is it good? Or is it is? It's good. Okay, Jim. Thank you.
All right. Well, let's check this out. This is from 1986, Clemson, the game-winning kick. I noticed Jackpot sent me clips where both teams are winning over Georgia.
Well, I mean,
fuck Georgia. All right, here's Jim Phillips.
Shown as a whole. Bedwell awaiting the snap. The spot. The kick is up. The kick is good.
That's great. Oh man, he was great. Jim Phillips.
Kick is good.
In addition to calling football, he called baseball and basketball. He did all three sports.
But Bob Fulton did some baseball games too, I believe. But
yeah, Bob Fulton was, and I just, both of those guys were. We grew up spoiled as kids with those guys as the soundtrack for our sports teams, and that's just real. I mean, look at and it's not to be disrespectful to the guys that have done it since then. Although Charlie McAlexander kind of sucked an asshole for the Gamecocks a little bit. I mean, let's just be honest. And Todd Ellis is kind of a suck ass too. Pete Yannity's just.
I like Todd, but I mean, he's kind of made an ass of himself. So.
Well, but the problem is that we look at these guys and we just think that they're trying to fill these big shoes of these guys, and that may be interesting. All right. Anyway, my Clemson Mount Rushmore is very simple. You have to go with Dabo Swinney first. The guy's won 2 national titles, and I think that's just. I mean, you could say more about that. I mean, the list of ACC titles and everything else, and the guys that he's recruited. Now he's got a number 1 overall pick in the draft, and eventually he'll have a Heisman Trophy winner there. But I hope that whoever wins the Heisman Trophy gives it back to them, because it's a fucking dumb award forever. There you go. But Dabo Swinney has to be number 1. Number 2 for me, I thought about. I had to step back and think for a little bit, but Brian Dawkins is number 2. His career at Clemson was pretty good, and you can look at he was an all-conference and everything else, but the guy is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he still has enough respect for Clemson. When he goes up during his Hall of Fame speech, he goes, Clemson, you've got your Hall of Famer. He has that much respect for the university. Dabo Swinney respected him enough that he let his kid play there, and his kid wasn't an ACC type player, Brian Dawkins Jr. But Brian Dawkins, they should have a statue of him out up there at Death Valley. I mean, that's just the way that it is. Although he's had some legal troubles here lately, Desean Watson should be on the list too. This guy was literally, Swinney called him Superman. He was Superman. Everything that he should have won the Heisman that year that Lamar Jackson won it. He was just a great, great player for Clemson. He's the only guy that I've seen that made Nick Saban sweat. And what I mean by that is that the first time him and Nick Saban squared off, Nick Saban's having to run onside kicks and everything to beat Desean Watson. So when you can make Nick Saban sweat, you're a pretty damn good player. So that's kind of the way that I go there. So you go with those 2. And then number 3 for me, when I really stop and look at it for a little bit, I've got to go. And these last 2 were really hard because these guys were talking about Lavon Kirkland. Lavon Kirkland is a guy that was an all-decades player in the NFL, a guy who comes on my radio show, one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet in your life, but he was an absolute demon on the field. He was great. So he's one of the ones that were right there, but just not quite Mount Rushmore enough, okay? But this guy, Khalil Green, who played baseball for Clemson, was a shortstop. He had some issues with I don't want to call it mental health issues, but there were things that just kind of kept him down. His senior year, he was the Collegiate Baseball's Player of the Year, along with Baseball America being the Player of the Year there. Broke his own fielding record with a 967 mark that season. I mean, he was just a great, great player. Didn't really do much in the majors, but he was an outstanding player on that front for Clemson. And just one of the best baseball players ever, in my opinion. So, and then my final thing goes to, and you got to step back and look at this from a perspective of what his signing meant to Clemson. And I think it's CJ Spiller. And the reason being is that CJ Spiller was supposed to go to Florida. And I don't know who convinced him to go up to Clemson, but he went to Clemson, was homesick, almost went back down to Florida, came to Clemson and was absolutely electric for the Tigers. Got drafted, played in the NFL. But for me, I mean, CJ Spiller, and the fact that I think that his recruitment and the fact that he was kind of that building block for Swinney to get other players, especially from Florida, into the Clemson setup up there. gotta be CJ Spiller. So there you go. So Sweeney, Khalil Green, Desean Watson, CJ Spiller. That is my 4 right there off the top. Jeff's right. Dabo recruited CJ Spiller. You're absolutely right. But I'm talking about convincing. I don't know who convinced him, hey, you don't want to go back down to Florida. Because he was, that was a very heated thing there. But all right. But yeah, I Khalil Green, I don't think people remember him, but he was outstanding. Jackpot, did I miss somebody?
He played for the Padres in the major leagues, right?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was. You could go with Chris Benson.
Yeah.
Number 1 overall pick in the MLB draft. He was really
good. Old Pennsylvania team.
Yeah. James online says Danny Ford, DeAndre Hopkins, Sammy Watkins. Yeah. You can go with all those guys. You could go. Some people might talk about the refrigerator Perry and how great he was, but I'm pretty solid with my 4.
I don't think Danny Ford gets enough credit for what he done from 1980-ish to 1988, but they sure do like to give him hell about why about him getting let go around 1989. I mean, he was great. He was great. He laid the foundation up there. I mean, why he got let go from Clemson's kind of mysterious to me. I think to a lot of people, I think that's one of those stories that's never really been told fully. And if it ever does, that's something that I would love. I mean, to hear the entire story of why that happened, because I think that's it just one of those things. It's like, huh? You're like, what? He's not the coach anymore. And then you're like, okay, yeah, they got a new coach now. Well, so here we go. And I'm like, no, that doesn't make any sense. And it was kind of shocking and weird at the same time. And never really got a full explanation why. There's a lot of rumors and innuendo, as Conrad Thompson would say, floating around as to why that happened. But, I don't think the truth was ever fully brought forth.
803-470-2905. We'll take a call or two before we leave. If there is someone that you would put on your Mount Rushmore that's not there, I pulled this up earlier and I forgot about this. In 2009, we're talking about Khalil Green. It was revealed that he was cutting himself in mental anguish due to a social anxiety disorder. I mean, a lot of times people can have that talent, man, but they can't. Sometimes they just can't get around it, And if he would have had just the capability to deal with that social anxiety stuff, he would have been an outstanding player, in my opinion. So,
Rob, have you ever heard this video of Jim Phillips calling the winning touchdown play when you dumb fucks beat Alabama in that championship game?
No, I can probably pull it up. Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it was something like this. You will watch it?
Yeah. Jim Phillips was outstanding.
Weird. I mean, he did that 13 years after he died, and he was like, "Oh, how did he do that?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, I think they just kind of spliced things together. I guess he made a call with somebody named Desean at some point in time during, I don't know how they spliced all that together. It was weird, but it was cool.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
I mean, it was cool. I mean, he died in 2003. That was in 2017 when you people did that. So, I mean, obviously it wasn't his call, but yeah, it was different, man.
I'm looking for I think I've got that where it was the man, I thought I was going to be able to find the Bob Fulton set where he was calling the Jim Phillips touchdown. That was kind of cool.
Is that on there somewhere on YouTube?
Yeah, it's somewhere. I had it at one point. If I can find it, that'd be great. But that would be kind of really neat. So anyway, 803-470-2905. That is our Mount Rushmore of stuff there. Jordan says Rivals did a series on their Clemson site doing a deep dive into the Andy Ford era. It's pretty interesting. I read some of that, Jordan. I gotta get into that. I haven't read all that. I should. So let's see here. Some other stuff here. Michael Dean Perry was great. Yes. Charlie Whitehurst.
That's right. The flags flew because everybody done.
Charlie Whitehurst did his thing. I agree with you on that. Brock says they simply could have brought him back to life. That's some funny stuff there. Well, 803-470-2905. If you want to join the show this evening. Is there somebody we missed? Do you have someone that you think should be there on your Clemson Mount Rushmore or South Carolina Mount Rushmore? Jordan's correct. Woody Dancer, he threw for 2,000, ran for 1,000. I mean, he's one of the first to do that. Yeah, you can definitely put him in the mix too.
You know who this is?
Who's that?
29 and a half. Going to try to kick it 60 yards plus a foot and a half. And Butler kicked a long one. A long one. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
No, I'm not sure who that is. My brain's not working.
What he did. This is ungodly.
That was Larry Munson.
Oh yeah, Larry Munson. Oh yeah, he did his part. He's a good broadcaster too.
The Georgia man. That was his Clemson. The 60-yard field goal.
SEC dogs over there trying to rip Will Sweeney. Will Sweeney has a championship ring. Tell me a Georgia player on the roster that's got one. I'll wait. Fuck off with all that. Will Sweeney's got more championship rings than your whole fucking team does. There's that too. I didn't put ETN up there. I don't know. But I was talking with somebody earlier before I went on with Kale here, and they were talking about how Trevor Lawrence. I couldn't put Trevor up there.
And I'm Carol Goldsmith.
So I don't know. There's that too. All right, 803-470-2905, 803-470-2905.
His face from right here.
He has a championship ring, SEC dog. He has a championship ring. Does any player on the Georgia roster have one? I'll wait. Tell us about the Georgia player that's got one. I'll wait. Tell us about the Georgia player. I'd love to hear it. TikTok. You don't have any.
Jim died after NFL.
Travis Etienne definitely be in that conversation as we get farther removed. Yeah, and I think over time that's going to be better because we'll have more time to look at it. But
we always had Jim part of our basketball.
So we've had a special relationship down through the years.
What are you looking for, John? John's over there looking for something.
Oh, okay, never mind.
No, I'm just wondering what you were looking for. You look like you're Bill Belichick with the hoodie on.
I know. I'm trying to go undercover.
Are you sick, brother? What's got you, man? Is the weather just got you? Or you got the vid? What do you got going on, man? Gamecock flu? What's the deal?
No, there's no such thing as the Gamecock flu. If there were, that's a positive thing. The vid, no, I don't.
You just got a cold?
I had a cold. I'm good now, though. It's cold in here. They keep it cold in this house.
I gotta. Have you noticed you've gotten colder as you've lost weight? I mean, you've lost a good bit of weight. Has that?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
I have noticed that. And I don't know if the two are in correlation or not. But my God, I mean, if I keep on losing, I'm gonna have to go buy a parka to wear in August.
Well, of course, first game of the season, you're going to be wearing Clemson stuff, And I might have to
That's
get you a hoodie. Might be good, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Without question.
All right. Well, we'll be back at it on Wednesday. We appreciate you guys joining the show. And yeah, we've had a pretty good show tonight. Of course, if you want to respond to what we talked about here, you can obviously respond to the YouTube comments, share what we put out there. And I'm on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. Jackpot's at Hall_Kale. Jackpot was throwing shots at me on Twitter the other night, saying he was going to throw me around like Bret Hart was throwing around Steve Austin. That kind of.
No, I was saying I was going to do you like Steve Austin did Bret Hart.
Oh, okay. I'm backwards.
I'm stone cold, by God.
Yeah, Stone Cold passed out in a blood
We're
test.
like we're kids playing. I'm stone cold. No, you're not going to be. I'm not going to be Bret Hart.
Stone Cold.
Bret was just laying some punches in right there at the beginning. And then he kicked you right in the damn balls.
It's not a joke. Jackpot says he's wearing Clemson orange that day because being a fan of Georgia is not an option. I mean, it's
he kicked him in the balls, and Bret Hart like crisscrossed his hands over his crotch and fell backwards, just kind of like, oh. He did thud, and old JR said, that's got to be down there around Saskatoon.
Well, Jackpot's going to wear orange for the matchup with Georgia, so that's going to be good. And you know what? I my despise for Georgia, my despise for Georgia might carry over into the South Carolina game. I don't know if I'll wear a South Carolina shirt, but I will be cheering for the Gamecocks to whip that Georgia ass because a Georgia loss is a win for America. That's the way that it works. By the way, SEC Talk says Tater's so deep, Mizzou puts more players in the NFL draft. No one gives a fuck what you think about that. Sorry. That's just an antiquated way of thinking. Georgia had a lot of players in the draft. How many national titles did they win? Go fuck your team there, SEC dog. Good luck with that.